Man, it took you long enough to get here! Technical 2013 release. The Tale of Princess Kaguya is the newest release by renowned Studio Ghibli, directed by studio co-founder Isao Takahata, most famous for directing Pom Poko and the depressing classic Grave of the Fireflies. Not having directed for years, but an adaptation of the bamboo cutter folktale is a project he's apparently wanted to do for over 50 years. The Tale of the Bamboo Cutter is one of, if not the oldest folktale in Japanese literature, about a bamboo cutter who finds a tiny girl in a bamboo stalk and takes her home and raises her, and that is all I am going to say. It's less about spoilers and not wanting to ruin your movie experience, but then when reviewing anything, you're always spoiling it a little. Quick version, it's gorgeous, go see it. No doubt one of the first things you notice about this film is the very unique animation style. Not just that it's lovingly hand-drawn, but unlike the clean, solid line work we're used to, the images are more akin to rough sketches and watercolors. This style is perfect for this film in so many ways. First, in keeping its sense of tradition and history, considering how old the story is. Even many of the character designs are reminiscent of old traditional Japanese paintings, while keeping them fluid and accessible. This art style also makes the visuals able to shift from capturing lifelike details and movements to then distorting the images when the film shifts into darker tones. It also makes the inclusion of fantasy images feel like a natural part of this world while still feeling majestic and supernatural, though most of the fantasy elements in this film are played subtly, like narratively blurring the lines between dreams and reality, or the way the girl grows abnormally fast, which is a detail in the original tale and not a ripoff of bad YA fiction. As for the story, without giving too much away, the film is dedicated to staying faithful to the original folktale while displaying it from beginning to end in impeccable detail. And that is a challenge, especially when it comes to traditional folk and fairy tales, because they're usually very short and loose on specifics. They're more like templates or anecdotes, which is exactly why fairy tales are so popular to adapt, because there's so many ways that they can be interpreted and filled in like a coloring book. We've seen all of Disney's let's say creative works, where inspired by really is the best word you can use. Regardless of how good the final film came out, in the end, it usually is a vastly different story, but filled with a unique and distinct personality. However, with Princess Kaguya, while the story as old as this one certainly has lots of versions with varying small details, it stays utterly true to its base story, so all the filling in has to be kept between the bullet points. But the way they flesh out these characters and give them personalities and believable motivations for why they do what they do is the heart of what makes the entire film work. In tone and pacing, it really is like a character study, watching Kaguya going through the emotional journey of this story. Yeah, if you've seen the US trailer, it is not a high-rolling adventure, but that apparently is the only way America knows how to market a Ghibli film. Man, trailers really do ruin everything. But I will say it's interesting how this film, unlike all of Miyazaki's films, was not distributed by Disney, because without giving any details away, this might be the most anti-princess film I've ever seen. That might just be from my point of view, but for all of its self-critique of traditional female roles in fairy tales, Frozen is looking at this movie and going, damn! Except because this story is staying true to its traditional roots, the princess in question cannot rebel in the same way a Disney princess would. What Takahata does is take instances that happened in the original story and reframes them so the incentive is more relatable to modern sensibilities of objectification. So basically, it's a showcase of how blatantly misogynistic 10th century aristocracy is. Take your daughters! This is a film that does not do the things you expect films to do, or at least American films to do, like uprightly acknowledge and then subsequently punish a character for doing something terrible, or reward the one that suffers in silence. This film isn't trying to teach a lesson or conform to the audience's wish fulfillment. All it's doing is displaying the life of one girl and getting you to feel every emotion she's feeling. Because in the end, the emotional journey is what this film is about. That being said, in honesty, I can't say I like Princess Kaguya more than my favorite Ghibli films like Spirited Away or Princess Mononoke. Because the plot has to follow the original tale so closely, there are some story elements that don't mesh perfectly, mostly having to do with the ending's sudden left turns. And not gonna lie, it is a little depressing to see that much time devoted to watching somebody be miserable, whether it was the point or not. But in animation and display of character, this film thrives and soars. And Ghibli fans will recognize Joe Hisaishi's beautiful score in a heartbeat. It is a devastating, beautiful film and is definitely worth seeing. It is in limited release right now, but you can check the Princess Kaguya Facebook page to see which theaters it's currently showing in. If you've seen it, tell me what you thought. Comment, like, subscribe, etc., and you stay shiny, Animaniacs!